In this episode of the Morris Minor Adventure, we're going to talk about electrical stuff. Um, I tend to add a lot of electrical stuff to the van, all my vehicles, but in particular the van. I could support something like something to charge my tool batteries, a sound system, whatever. A lot of electrical stuff goes in there, and the original Morris Minor wiring harness and stuff does not support a bunch of cool stuff like that. So I've added fuse blocks here. First thing I did was I changed the ignition switch over to a switch that I think was a Marine product that has an accessory position, and it gives me an ignition circuit and a battery circuit and an accessory circuit, so I can have things running without the car being running. I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to do with this weird little fuse holder they've got in here that runs some of the lights in the car. I'm not real sure what that was. It's an afterthought kind of thing that came with the wiring harness. It was original to the car and came with the wiring harness, but I don't think I'm going to end up using that. So I'm a big believer in grounds, and I've got my ground here bonded to the motor, bonded to the chassis of the car, goes up here to the negative terminal, and then I've added a bus bar down here that lets me attach as many grounds as I want to. You see the wire going off there to the right hand side that goes over to my connection on the battery cable. And then there's cute little wires coming out of the wiring harness for ground that are attached to the body, and I've bonded them to this ground bus bar as well. Grounds are a really important and often overlooked thing. They tend to deteriorate over time, causing problems in the car. So get them good from the start, and you'll probably have less problems along the line. But that's where we are right now. I've got my power distribution set up right here, and goes over here and gets grounded properly, and we'll see where all that goes. I got a voltmeter inside. That was what really prompted me to get this. That was my next step in getting the electrical system going, hooking up a voltmeter. I wanted to have good places to go to figure out exactly what the voltage is in the system. I got a purple wire in here. You can see it back here behind the wiring harness that was not incorporated in the harness that I got that connects to my really nifty little Suzuki Samurai alternator. These alternators are really popular items. They're little tiny alternators that do a really great job. I think the last one I got, I just bought one to put on my TR6 that I think was a Chinese knockoff. But if it works, it's fine. But the purple wire is the excitation to the back of the alternator. And the original wiring harness had this brown wire that came off the battery system, and I didn't have time to figure out what they had in mind for that, so I just covered it up with some heat shrink to keep it from blowing my car up. But that's where I am right now with electrical stuff, and it'll get more and more complicated as time goes on.